What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my prep vlog series. I'm currently 46 weeks out, and today I'm going to be walking through a pull day setup with you guys. So right now in my rotation, I have 2 pull workouts or back workouts, however you want to describe it. And so I'm going to be going over one of them with you, mostly because I think back is probably the body part that I see done incorrectly the most. And it was the same case for me. I probably incorrectly trained my back, especially my lats, for probably 8 years before I figured it out. So the first movement that I do in this workout is a single arm cable lat row. And so you'll see that I set up off to one side where I'm rowing with my left arm and my left foot is up on the right side of the platform, and I'm kind of scooted off to the side. So most of us as bodybuilders really lack the ability to externally rotate at the shoulder joint. And so to compensate for that, sitting off to the side will help you align everything to the cable. If in a single cable setup, like the one here that I'm using, if you just sit square to the cable and row it, you have no choice but to row it off at an angle. So sitting off to the side so that the cable, your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder joint all line up, it allows you to really tuck that elbow and drag it along your torso. And I try to think about pulling my elbow into my pocket or into the front of my hip. And that really engages like that lower lat portion. And that's what we're after here. So then moving over then to a lat bias pull down. I'm lucky enough to have this Nautilus pull down in my gym. And I actually had it out at the last gym that I was in Texas as well. So I've kind of lucked out 2 times in a row. This piece is excellent. There's not going to be really many lat bias pull down machine options that do as good a job as this, that allow for kind of individual variability and setup. You have to remember that the moment arm, meaning the part of your body that is actually moving the load. The moment arm is just your upper arm, your humerus, basically from your elbow to your shoulder. That's moving it. So from your elbow down, you have to visualize it and think about it like it's almost like a hook. So same thing, we want to remain externally rotated to keep the tension on the lats, and we're only gonna stretch as high as an externally rotated shoulder allows. Again, so then I do allow for some of this like upper back rounding, like this thoracic flexion, where it's a big stretch. I'm allowing the collarbones to really like collapse forward, but also I'm also allowing them to elevate as well. So I wind up kind of in this hunched position where my traps and my collarbones are up into my earlobes, and also as wrapped around the front of my spine as I possibly can get it. And then from there, I'm gonna kind of go through thoracic extension then. So I'm gonna go from flexion to extension. And then I'm thinking about wrapping my rear delts and my elbows back around my spine to where they're gonna meet each other behind my spine. And you'll see, like, this is a movement, especially for some of this upper back stuff. I'm not afraid to create like some backward leaning angle, because that's just really allowing me to get everything as shortened as possible. Whereas if I try to fight myself staying more upright or a more neutral spine, I don't feel like you get every ounce of the row that you can for the upper back. And then moving over to this upper back pull down. So this is maybe the most bastardized movement in the gym. People hear or say lat pull down, and then what they're really doing is this. So again, I'm creating some backward torso angle on purpose, but you'll notice my torso then at that angle just stays locked in place. I see a lot of people that on this movement, they essentially row it back to them, and then as they're stretching, everything leans forward, their head comes up through their shoulders, and then you're setting yourself up to swing the weight back. So I'm trying to keep my torso locked into whatever angle I've determined works for me. And so then I'm allowing, same thing, like using the collarbones and the traps kind of as a guider. I'm allowing everything to protract, which is just my shoulders are sliding forward. but then also I'm allowing the scapula to elevate as much as I can. So I'm thinking about my traps pushing up into my ears to get that full stretch. So I'm elevated and I'm forward from the side. It kind of looks like this. And then, so when I'm pulling down for the upper back, I want the opposite. So if I'm elevated and forward, I want to be depressed and retracted. So I go from this to something like that. I do a ton of volume for my arms. And so because of that, I have a lot of movements in for variety. When you have that much volume to play with. So here, I'm doing a hammer curl, dumbbell hammer curl. And you see I'm kind of grabbing onto a machine and leaning off to one side. Again, because we're naturally kind of protracted and pronated forward, we have this kind of, our arms kind of lay at this kind of natural cross body angle. And so in an effort to line everything up better, especially with the line of pull just being gravity at this point, with a free dumbbell, I'm kind of leaning off to one side to allow everything to line up accurately. So it's going to just prevent a lot of injuries on the elbows and the forearms. So I hit like 3 or 4 sets on hammer curls, and then I go over and hit this single arm preacher curl as well. My arms saw huge improvements when I started doing things that were single arm, instead of trying to force my arms into positions to do fixed barbell stuff like skull crushers, barbell curls, all these things. They look cool, they feel like you're doing manly shit in the gym, but most of the time, for me at least, I just ended up with banged up elbows and a lack of arm development. So switching things over to just single arm based stuff and really pouring a lot of focus and effort into just one side at a time has really brought me some good returns. So that's everything training wise. Like I said, 46 weeks out, we started putting some food back in. I was running some clenbuterol at the end of that fat loss phase that I was telling you guys about. We've since pulled that out. So body weight's starting to trend back up. I'm pretty banged up here at the end of this week, so I'm gonna run a deload next week and get really fresh, and then that will start a new training block. I'll probably have some new movements. I may even go hit a back workout consistently in a different gym. So stay tuned for that, and by the time that you guys see this, I will be 44 weeks out, and that will be the next vlog. So let me know in the comments what you guys want to see from the lifestyle and from the prep. Leave a comment, subscribe, all that stuff. As always, support the Nutrabio Unbound products, and until next time, guys, I'm out.